The Prime Initiative.
Good morning, guys. Coming to you guys again. Here we go. No character, no fancy screens or anything like that. No animations. I just want to have a conversation with you, and this is going to be pertaining to the majority of first responders, or really anyone that struggles within a holiday setting. Now that we're in December, it could be difficult for some people, right? Let me take off my glasses, guys. I'm sorry. I obviously need these to see better, but want to make sure you guys can look at my eyes when I'm talking to you. You know, I don't want to be rude. Yeah, believe it or not, right? But there's a lot of people that struggle around this certain time, especially if you're a first responder. First responders, you know, everyone would tell you if you're a first responder and you're not part of a clique or a brass baby, right? More than likely, you're not going to have any holidays off. That's just how it works. You know, I remember specifically the last year that I was in law enforcement. Holy shit, man! I will work like around the December time. I will obviously work. I will get drafted. I will work my normal shift on Christmas Eve, and then get drafted to stay the whole day, or stay overnight rather, and then come back to my next shift on Christmas Day, work that shift, get drafted again because people call out, right? And for the public who has an understanding, just so you guys have an understanding, when I say drafted, I mean that you're forced to stay to work another shift. That's how that works. So you go from working maybe like an 8-9 hour shift to a 16, 17, 18 hour shift, depending on your unit of assignment, right? And that could take a toll on some people. And again, like I said, I'm coming to you guys not in character, just want to have a conversation. Let me tell you guys this first, right off the bat. Okay, I know there's a lot of you still struggling. I've had this conversation since I started this YouTube venture, right? I know you guys are still struggling. I get calls every day, emails every day, texts every day, messages every day about the same thing. And it's hard. It's hard to hear and see you guys struggle. I know. There's certain things that I can relate to, and there's certain things that I cannot relate to be honest. You know, I hear these stories, and you guys tell me these particular stories of what's going on in your unit of assignment or how you're being treated, and I'm like, holy shit, this is by far one of the worst things I've ever heard. I feel for you guys because you sign up to do a particular job. You're able-bodied, you do this job, and then you get treated a particular way. Leadership betrayal is a definite thing, right? You work so hard to appease or to show your supervisors what you're capable of and that you really care for your job, and then you get treated like shit, right? I get it. This is why we speak up, right? And I know there's certain one of you guys that you guys cannot speak up, and that's obvious. Anyone would tell you that if you speak up about anything that's going on in law enforcement and you're still in law enforcement, you're done, right? Even our former sheriff, Alex Villanueva, who just finished writing a book, mind you, he states it as well. It's hard to talk about the truth to people of power, and he's absolutely right. I dealt with it. Many of you guys have dealt with it. You guys are currently still going through it. There's certain stories that I hear. There's deputies that not only are they getting attacked by their supervisors, and what I mean by attacked, I don't mean physically, not so much. There's other ways that particular supervisors within agencies will get back at you, or admin will get back at you, right? It's all about paper fucking or freeway therapy, right? They'll transfer you the fuck so far away out. You can never spend time with your family, I feel for you guys. Look, I'm not here to sugarcoat things. Again, I'm not like that. I'm not here to tell you guys that it's going to be all right, but I'm here to tell you guys that you're not alone. There's so many times that I talk to certain people throughout the day just to make sure that they're doing okay, and they're battling certain things that are going on within Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. And it's hard. It's hard because, I've been there. I get it, and I know what you guys are going through. And then some of you guys, like I stated, some of you guys, man, the stories you tell me are just, they're wild. It's I could just imagine. And sometimes the county, when you speak up against something or you take them to court, not only do they go after you, they try to slander you. They try to make you seem like you're just a liar. You're not capable of the job. They'll do anything possible to throw this at you, right? And then make you look like shit. So when you're in court, you really have nothing to stand on because the picture that they painted is of you more than likely deserving whatever you're getting, right? That's just how it works. But if there's one thing that this past year has have taught us, especially when it comes to the elections, is that particular people of power can definitely come up with whatever they want to slander you, and you look at the things that happened with Trump. Trump is, obviously he got elected, right? Thank God, he got elected. But prior to that, look at all the shit they did to him. They threw all these charges at him. They try to defame him. They slander him. They say, oh, he's a liar. I mean, you name it, they did it all. He still became president, right? Well, things happen like that as well on a much smaller scale. And those of you who are inside certain agencies can attest to that. But again, one thing to have in mind is that you're not alone. Okay. And oftentimes I've referred to this particular situation that's going on like a cult. There's certain cults, the way they operate is they brainwash you. Okay. They make you feel like you're completely and utterly in need of them. Okay. They will do everything in their power to make sure that they disconnect you completely from the outside world, right? Does that sound familiar? And that you don't have a voice as to what's going on. And if you speak up, that's it, you're done. For punishment, what they'll try to do, and this again going back into the cult, for punishment, what a lot of these cults like to do is they will disfellowship you or disconnect you from their own resources or their own people that reside within that same cult. Because if you don't have any outside sources, you can't talk to anybody that's outside of the cult, right? The only people you could really associate yourself with are the people that are inside the cult. So you have this sense of dependency when it comes to that. So for punishment, to make sure that you don't talk or you don't do anything, they'll remove that, making you feel like you're alone, right? And again, I've stated this before in the past, right? Look at what happens when you're inside an agency. If, let's just say, you get into, I don't know, a use of force, and then for some reason this the inmate or the suspect is saying, oh, well, deputy or officer so and so did this to me, blah 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 blah. Who do you think they're going to believe? They're going to believe your ass. They're going to believe that person, right? And then guess what happens? Now you're under internal investigations, right? Now when that happens, the core group that you have will obviously make sure that you're doing good, right? But think about it. How many people do you come across on a daily basis that know you and work with you, and maybe seen your firstborn, on they'll go to their parties, you break bread with them, and then you undergo a particular situation, and now they're all gone, right? It fucks with you, right? And it should, because you're a human being. They know that as well. So just keep in mind, if you're battling against certain things, stay strong. Keep moving forward. Stay on track. Stay mentally sane. Okay? Don't let that darkness creep in. All right? And I know it's easier said than done. Trust me. I know. But you're not alone. There's others that are suffering the same situations, if not maybe even worse than you are. And I'm not trying to downgrade what's going on with you, because it doesn't matter how minute I may think it is or others may think it is. It's obviously something big for yourself. And whether you're a man or a woman. Now, when it comes to men, I do hear a lot. I hear a lot that what's going on. But guys, I'm telling you this from experience. Don't bottle it in. Men have a hard time trying to express themselves and talk about certain things. And it is what it is. That's just how we're built, right? And of course, if you're in a department like Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, you try to say anything or open up about anything that's going on within your mentality, your psychosis, or your emotional stability, you get shunned. Not only that, they'll do their best to completely not only derogate you, but they'll excommunicate you, right? So therefore, it makes it worse. I mean, look back at those 10 plus suicides that happened not so long ago in the department, right? It will take a toll. For you ladies there in the department, you hardworking ladies that are legit, I feel for you guys too. You guys are going through a lot. It's being in a male driven profession is difficult. I could just imagine. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know what it's like to be in your shoes. No, I don't. I don't know, but I see it. I see it, and I hear the stories, and I've seen it firsthand. I would see, hardworking females, and something happens, and then all of a sudden, just things disappear. The people that are there to surround you with support are gone, right? And it's okay to be emotional about it. It's totally fine. In fact, you should be. You're only human, right? Don't try to bottle it up inside. But again, you're not alone. And the one thing, again, that you want to kind of get in the mindset of is that you have to make peace, not peace. I'm sorry, I redact that. You have to have an understanding as to what you're going through, and then go from there. Look inside as to how you're dealing with this particular situation, and then move forward. Stay busy. Here's another thing: is to stay busy. And again, the holidays become extremely difficult. It becomes extremely difficult. But the best thing you could do in particular situations like that is stay busy, be around other people. One of the best things that you could do when you're going through certain things is, and again, obviously it's up to you guys, but what I strongly advise against is don't surround yourself with too many enforcement personnel or your partners. Try to step away slightly from the rhetoric and the mentality of that of a cop. Hopefully you have certain associates that are not first responders, not police. Talk to them, let them know what's going on. Would they understand what's going on as far as on an agency level? Probably not. Probably not. Some may, but don't shun them away because they wouldn't understand. Allow them to understand what's going on with you. There's certain things like, for example, one biggest thing that is plaguing a lot of people is the mandatory overtime that is still running rampant, right? With the mandatory overtime, especially when it comes to holidays, it's hard to talk about that with people who have not gone through it. One of the biggest things that I've seen comments on when it comes to mandatory overtime is, people in the public, they'll say, "Oh, well, you signed up for that," or they'll say something like, "What's wrong with working overtime? Some people love overtime." You know, this may come as a surprise to some of you, but there's more important things in life, more enriching things in life than material possessions and getting money from overtime. And that is your family. That is the ones you love. But the number one most important thing that you need to adhere is yourself. How do you feel about all of it? Treat yourself as important as anything. If you're going through stuff, talk about it. And I'm not saying to go into a group, sit in a circle and hug it out. Okay, you know what? If that works for you, that's fine. It's not my thing, okay? But it does help out for some. I really strongly encourage that you guys talk about it. And again, you're more than well. You guys have my email, my IG. Obviously, it's you don't have to be a first responder to be dealing with certain things. There's people that like, okay, retail, for example. Retail right now sucks ass. Have you walked into? Is there still Best Buys around? There is, right? You know what? It doesn't matter. You walk into any particular mall or store right now, it is crazy. It's nuts, right? Imagine those poor people working in a retail setting. It's hard, man. You get all these Karens and bunch of grab and runners and all these people just wanting. They don't give a fuck about you. And then you have to stand there and smile and be like, is that all you need, sir? Man, fuck you. That whole retail stuff, that's hard, man. And I give you guys credit. I give you guys a lot of credit. Hopefully in time, this obviously this coming year, things will change as far as the retail setting is concerned. But it's difficult. Again, you want to stay busy. I'll use myself as an example. Why not? I mean, fuck. You guys know, for the most part, the majority of the stuff that I talk about is about me, right? But there was a time before obviously I got married and before I got into law enforcement, and even in law enforcement, I was by myself. And holidays always were difficult. Not so much because like, oh, I'm not gonna go any press. I don't give a shit about that. It's not so much about that. It can be a little difficult to hear these stories and to watch people just enjoy holidays with their family or, with their loved ones. And then maybe you don't have anyone. Maybe you just recently got divorced, or maybe you just, you had a breakup, or maybe your family is completely on the other side of the country or overseas, or maybe you don't even have any of that. That's hard. You know, by nature, we're actually supposed to be social creatures. That's just how it is, right? So it's difficult when you don't have that. And again, I want to tell you guys that I understand it's difficult, but move through it. This kind of particular situation that you may or may not be going through is all temp. It's all temp. Things will change. Things are actually, I mean, things are starting to change as far as culture is concerned as we speak right now. But forget about that. Let's talk about you, right? Things need to change within yourself. And you're not, if you're alone during the holidays, or if you're struggling during the holidays, here's one thing that I definitely have to come across, okay? I have to make sure you guys have this understanding. And that is, it's not your fault. Okay, there's just certain things that transpire that are not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Okay, acknowledge what's going on, right? And then act upon that. Like the OODA loop, right? All of you awesome people that used to serve in military know about the OODA loop. And I might completely destroy this. But OODA loop stands for orient yourself, right? Where are you? Observe what's going on. Decide what your next step is, and then act. OODA, right? Act on it. And then rinse and repeat, right? That's how you move forward. I personally have used that on numerous times. I mean, there isn't a day that I don't use that OODA loop concept. Okay, a lot of people have a tendency to get stuck on the decisive part about it, right? So you orient yourself, you observe, everyone does, and then you decide. But what about the act part? The second you start to act upon what you need to do, things will start to change. And it's hard. It could be difficult for some. I mean, look at what happens around January time at the gym, right? Everyone wants to get in shape because they just finished stuffing their fat asses with whatever, right, for the holidays. You can't blame them because they're probably with family, but everyone wants to get in shape. And then it will last maybe up to the midweek of February, and then or March, and then everyone just kind of goes back to their bullshit, right? Why do you think that is? Well, anyone can go into any type of gym setting and do whatever, lift up heavy circles or go on the treadmill or whatever, go swimming or go play racquetball, whatever, any type of activity, right? But before you change your body and change what's going on, you have to first change your mindset. That's the issue. Now, if these same people, if they will go back into the gym setting in January and then have that mentality that, you know what, this is going to be a slow burn for me. I'm going to do what it takes to whatever, get in shape, or I don't know, maybe you have a goal in mind. Bench press 300 pounds, right? Maybe you have that goal in mind. You're not going to do that within the first 2 weeks of January. I guarantee it. It's going to be a process. And you could go spend an hour, 2 hours at the gym. But what about the rest of the hours of the day? You could even hire a personal trainer for like 30 minutes to an hour. And that personal trainer can tell you everything that you need to do within that hour. Maybe even tell you what you need to eat so on and so forth, right? But what about the rest of the time when that trainer's not there? You are your own trainer, right? The minute you have this understanding that you have to change your mentality is when things actually start to change around, you know? There's other podcasters out there. There's other YouTubers out there that have awesome messages. You know, one of my friends and hosts that I would hang out with is well, both of them. I mean, you guys know them, Trent James and Amanda. You know, they've gone through their fair share of shit themselves. I mean, completely and utterly puts my situation to shame, to be honest with you. But they've gone through a lot, but yet they push forward and they're doing fantastically. They would tell you as well. And then you have other podcasters that are out there like Hector Bravo. Hector Bravo, you know, if you guys haven't seen his IG, just like other people that have IGs, they're they have a lot of motivation to give. Hector Bravo tells you exactly, flat out. He won't sugarcoat it either. He'll tell you, look, this is what you need to do. If this guy's in your way, fuck this guy. It's that simple. You know, if there's something that you need to take care of, take care of it. If you have a decision to make, act on it. We're coming up on a new year. We have a awesome new president now, right? Things are changing. This should be a catapult to everything that you want to do now going forward. One biggest thing that cults and particular agencies do is they take away your First Amendment right? Your freedom of speech. Oh, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't say that, you definitely can't post that. And that's unfortunate because we're in a country where it's nothing but free speech. And if you haven't been seeing the news recently, this whole past year with particular people that were running for the presidency, they wanted to take that away. Wanted to take away the free speech, right? Because your opinion, if it doesn't align with theirs, then you're a bigot or a racist, right? Or whatever, you know. Gavin Newsom, bitch ass governor. Here's another guy. The minute he sees memes or anything that's pertaining to artificial intelligence with his face on it, he wants to ban. He wants to ban memes. He wants to ban all this free speech, right? Keep that in mind. What you say and what you do and your opinion matters. It does. It sure does. We're in a country where it does. And come next year, it's going to matter a lot. Reason being is because if you're watching this, you have a particular mindset. I know I'm not for everyone. Trust me, I know. And that's okay. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to give you guys bullshit or glorify myself. I'm here to obviously speak the truth. And hopefully, in that process, certain ones speak up as well. I was talking to this guy who I'm not going to name his name yet. Awesome deputy, and he's right now on leave at the moment for some medical shit. But man, was this guy's hardworking. He had some surgery done on his back and everything, and man, he's getting a lot of shit from the county, and it's not surprising to me. But the one thing that I listen when I hear him or when I text him, talk to him, is how he's struggling throughout this whole venture, and he's done a lot. He's done a lot, and one thing that I reiterate with him is that things are temp. You're going to move forward. There was a time, I think, some of you have seen this episode. I went on with Marlon Marache's episode on. Oh my God, why am I forgetting this? Sorry, it's more than likely my medical shit. Internal Affairs podcast with Marlon. Marlon was a lieutenant in internal affairs for LAPD. I went on his podcast. It was a while ago. I forgot when. But in there, I did state that there was, dark times. There was dark times where I even attempted suicide. It was at that time. It was the most mathematically viable option for me, right? But here I am today. Obviously, I fucked that up. I couldn't even do that right. But I'm here now, right? So I understand. I get it, and now in retrospect, if things happened a little differently, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be talking up against all the corruption that California has, or anything else to that matter. Um, I wouldn't have met my lovely wife. I wouldn't have helped out all the other ones that are also in need, that are struggling within the department. You know. So, last thing to say, guys, is listen. My In case you guys don't have it, you could find me on IG under the Prime Initiative. You could email me, emails on the YouTube link, the Prime Initiative Podcast at gmail.com. Um, if not, I'll put it up on the description here. But shoot me an email. Well, if I can't help you, I'll find someone. And it's difficult. It is, and it's also hard to hear all the stories. Um, but look, I'm here to give you some good news. Things are looking up. But by all means, I know you guys have signed up to do something great. Well, the majority of you have. There's some that are just shitbags to begin with. They signed up for a paycheck, but the majority of you signed up for a particular reason. Keep that in mind when you're going through your situation. And even though you signed up for that particular reason, I need you to have an understanding that you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not the only one dealing with it. There's others that will love to talk to you, and I know you signed up because you have a particular love for others. At least I hope so, right? The majority of good personnel out there, whatever first responder you are, whether you be a cop, firefighter, paramedic, you're an EMT, or you work in probation, whatever particular public servant job that you have, it's difficult, especially nowadays, right? With everything that has transpired. And I know you have this love, but by all means, the number one person on that list that you need to love the most is yourself. How could you possibly look after your family, or your kids, or your pets, or your mom, dad, or your abuela, abuelo, whatever? How could you possibly look after them if you're not good? And I've used this analogy once before on a podcast, but years ago, fucking decades ago. I'm old as fuck, but decades ago, when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a lifeguard, like just for the summer, And before I obviously before I got into it, I wanted to ask questions, and at that time I was where was I? I think it was in Santa Monica, or I don't remember. It was a beach city. And I remember I came across a lifeguard tower and I saw a lifeguard there, and he looked like a big shot because he was, wearing a jacket and pants, and he was driving around a supervisor truck. It looked like. So I asked him a question. What does it take to, to be a lifeguard? And he asked me this one question. To this day, I still say this story because it makes the most sense. Pardon me. I drink lion's mane mushroom. Tastes like shit, but it's great for you. Um, so this lifeguard asked me this question. He goes, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a scenario." I go, "All right, cool, man." I'm gonna shoot. What is it? So he said, like, imagine you're a lifeguard, okay? You're on your tower, and you're by the pier, and you see someone almost drowning, right? And they're asking for help. They're by the pier. So you being the lifeguard, you're like, "Oh shit, I gotta go," and you bolt in there. You dive into that water, and you swim all the way out there to get him. You pick him up, and he's unconscious. You're like, "Oh shit, now there's a time crunch, right?" Then you start swimming towards land, and a rogue wave picks you up, and you're about to hit the column pier, right? Or rather, the column. but you have an option to do something, what would you do? So then I thought about that. I was like, fuck, I don't know. So what I said was, well, sir, what I'll do is I'll move my body so I take the hit from the column, and then I'll swim out to shore after that, right? To which he gave me this look. He goes, "No, that's not what you fucking do." And I go, "Why not? Like, no, that's that. I'm there to save his life. What am I supposed to do? Use him as a shield, and then swim out, and he's gonna get hit. He's already unconscious." To which he stated, "Yeah," and I didn't believe that. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why is that? Well, like, I got a little upset, right? I did get upset, and he stated, "Well, because if you get hit by that column, then both of you go down, and now there's 2 lives lost." And I thought about that. I'm like, man, forget this. And I just walked away, right? But he's right. Before you can go out there and save anybody that you can, or save the ones you love, look after yourself first. It's not a selfish thing. Trust me, it's not a selfish thing. It's an intelligent thing. Again, how can you look after your loved ones if you're not in the right mind setting to do that, right? Again, I'll go ahead and put up these the emails and everything, and just wanted to wish you guys happy holidays, and stay strong. Things are changing. They are. They are. And the one thing that we all need to have an understanding about is that you're not alone. Talk about it. You have free speech still. Look after yourself. Take care of you guys.
The Prime Initiative.